Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. So we decided to film a girl chat Q&A type of video.
Yes, since you guys love our sit down videos.
Yes, so we decided
thought let's have a bit of a sit down,
chat.
Yes, so we're drinking a pinotage and Elisa's favorite wine. We have
Red
some
wine, favorite red wine.
We have some popcorn. This is how we normally just sit and chill with each other in general.
So we decided to just
Chill with you guys, you know. So
of course.
yes.
Let's get into it.
Guys, my stomach is not flat, so I'm just gonna put
I'm
it
on my
out.
period and I'm bloated, so girl.
Nice one, Tiki. I'm not gonna try and suck it in. Please, I'm gonna put it out there so I can actually relax throughout this video.
See, that's cute.
Yes, because I want to relax, but I'm trying to suck it in. It's gonna be draining for
I'm
me.
trying to lean back.
Just to see. First sip. It's delicious. Anyway,
Nice.
so
You go with the first one.
oh my gosh, I feel like it's speaking to me. The first question is being single in your 20s.
So what's your take on being single in your 20s? Because I cannot relate.
I've been single since I was 20, so I've been single for 5 years. Ah, the dog. I've been single for 5 years, and honestly, it is draining. I am tired. Firstly, I'm not single by choice. I'm single because I'm just, I don't want to say struggling because I don't want to put that out into the universe, but I'm definitely, you can set goals in terms of, oh, I want to make this amount of money, I want to be driving this car, I want to be doing this at this age. I think you can set goals like that, but I don't think
If it
you can
involves
set a
another
goal
person.
where it involves another person, because, and especially if it involves emotions, because I want to be in love. Like, I want that. I don't want to date just to date. I don't want to be with someone for whatever reason than just being in love with them. And I think it's very hard to meet someone where I can have that attraction, what's the word?
Intimacy.
Chemistry, intimacy, also aligning, lifestyles aligning, goals aligning, where you guys want to be as well, aligning, you know. So I just think for me, I'm gonna put it, I hate being single. I don't like it, and it's not by choice, and it's just the card I've been dealt with by the universe. So that's where I am.
I wonder what advice are you giving people? It's like
Okay, but at the same time, okay, being single in my 20s, positive note, on a positive note, I do think that I've had time to work so much on myself. I have, like, when I look at her, sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I have so much free time, because being in a relationship requires a lot of energy. I have a wake up time and a sleeping time, and I think that I can't be up at 1 a.m. texting a person. So I enjoy having my life in order, and I do think that being in a relationship can disturb your peace. So that is the upside to being single in your 20s. So it's a bit of both, but I genuinely would prefer to be in a relationship. I'm a hopeless romantic. Okay, next question is, how are you finding your mid-20s?
I feel like it's a bit, I don't know, it's a bit, I think that it's very difficult to not know where you should be at a certain point in your life. And I think that it makes it difficult to know whether you're on the right path or whether you're going completely in the wrong direction. I do think that 20s are weird. Like, it's a very, I think it's the age where you find yourself the most. You're getting to know who you're going to be as a mother, who you might be as a wife, a partner, a friend, all those things. You're weeding out the bad, and it's just a weird time. What do you think?
It's so tricky because I think it can come into many forms, career-wise, relationship-wise, health-wise, spiritual-wise, you know, just it can, there are many factors that can come into
It's
play.
like you're a child and an adult at the same time.
Exactly. I feel like I'm a child. I don't know. It's like when I go get groceries by myself, I'm like, am I getting groceries? But anyway, that's not the point. But I just think that, especially for us being self-employed, I think it can have more confusion than a usual person who's working a 9 to 5. Obviously, I'm not saying that you won't feel like you're not where you would like to be working a 9 to 5, but I think that
There's structure.
there's more structure, you know. And I also think that, I think for me, for example, I'm flourishing, but at the same time I'm struggling. It's just a bit of both. You know, it's like sometimes you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful. I'm not feeling the way I was feeling when I was 21. You know, but at the same time, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm 25, and I'm like,
sometimes I wish I was 21.
You see, exactly. I don't wish I was 21. I was in a very dark place at 21.
I feel like I was more ignorant
No.
and more oblivious to a lot of real life problems, and I think sometimes it feels better to not be aware.
I get that, but I think for me, I get what you're saying, but I think for me, if I hadn't gone through a horrible breakup, I probably would have felt that way at 21.
So you were like dealing with a lot.
I was dealing with a lot, and being in an emotionally abusive relationship, like things like that, where I felt like, oh my gosh, I'm dealing with this at 21, you know?
That's and you don't even know what
exactly.
you're doing.
Like stepping into a therapist's office for the first time at 21.
You don't even know how to articulate yourself.
I don't even know what I'm doing, you know? But that's my. I felt like I got a reality check at like 2020. Exactly. I was forced to deal with emotions that I didn't understand. But I would say 20s, I think they're amazing. I think I'm having fun. I'm making mistakes if I'm making mistakes, you know, but obviously not mistakes that are going to affect me for the rest of my life. But like just being selfish. I think that's what I'm learning in my 20s now, is to be selfish.
I understand.
And I'm very selfish.
Yes.
I would just say. But I think the 20s, I feel like I'm flourishing, but I'm struggling at the same time.
Yeah.
That's how I would describe things.
I get that.
Do you agree? Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, it's a bit of both. It's a lot of trauma healing. Just trying to figure out the kind of person you want to be, the goals you want to achieve. I think it's the dreams are weird. It's like you. I don't know. I can't describe it, but yeah, I agree with you.
Read the next question.
Yes. So what's your take on situationships?
What's your take on them? Since you've never been in one. Have you been in a situationship?
Not really, no.
I've been in long-term situationships.
Did you just spill one?
No, I didn't. I've been in long-term situationships, but what's your take on them, since you haven't been in one?
I think I don't understand them, and I just don't get the purpose of it. Maybe it's loneliness, maybe it's comfort. I don't know. I don't get it.
I think I personally, once again, since I don't like being single, I would like to be in a relationship. I think that sometimes just to find a sense of I don't know if it's comfort or stability, but I think it doesn't. Stability and situationship don't go together.
It's just anxiety.
But it can feel that way sometimes. I don't know
like
if I mean
stability. Like normalcy.
Yeah, it can. You know, but at the same time, I do think that if people can do whatever they want to do, firstly, but I know that it doesn't work for me, because I think that when you know that you guys are not exclusive to each other and you're just being together without exclusivity, it's almost like at some point it's going to have to end, and someone's going to be hurt.
Someone's going to get hurt, and who's going to get hurt? When does it end? How does it end? Why does it end? You know, it's like all those questions, and you're like, is the other one going to get in a serious relationship? Because it gets comfortable, and it gets comfortable until it's not comfortable. You know?
Someone asked, how hard is it letting go of bad habits?
I think that the thing with life, I don't want to sound like I know what I'm talking about, but I'm just going to share my opinion. I think that the thing with life is that, this is the biggest thing I had to learn, is that nothing is going to happen exactly the way it's supposed to happen. And I also learned that in order to get something right, it's almost like an addict. This is what when you have to learn about addicts, just because you were an addict, it doesn't mean you don't want to drink or don't want to smoke or don't want to do drugs or whatever. It's actually a daily, it's something that you have to do over and over and over again. So let's say you want to start implementing new ways of doing things, or implementing new, I don't know,
healthy habits.
Yes, healthier habits into your life. It's like, it doesn't mean it's easy to do it. I remember when people talk about motivation. Like there is no motivation to go to the gym or get up and do work, or be consistent or try and just be in a positive mindset, mind frame, all of that. So I think that the biggest thing is to try hold yourself accountable. You have to be hard on yourself to a certain extent, and I think that it's important to remind yourself that what you're doing is because you know it's not going to feel good for you not to do it at the same time. So it's like, if I don't want to go to the gym, I know the alarm will ring and it will be like 6 a.m. and I will close my eyes and it will be 2 minutes past 6, and I'm beating myself in my head, telling myself, when it's 2 p.m. you're going to hate yourself because you should have went.
Exactly.
And there is no one who ever regrets doing something that was beneficial for their well-being and their health. So that's the only thing I would have to say.
It's so true, because I think it, like, for example, I don't know if you saw when we were going through these questions, someone said, they just said we wanted us to talk about confidence, but I'll just bring it up now because I feel like it goes hand in hand with what we're talking about, like building healthy habits or letting go of bad habits. I just think that self-confidence is you trusting yourself. If I'm confident in my sister, I'm confident in her because I trust her. I think that's what it all boils down to.
I've shown you so many times why you should trust me.
Exactly. So it's like, if I tell myself, like, I'm sure we all have goals, whether it was New Year's resolutions or this month I'm telling myself I'm going to do this, I'm going to eat healthy, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to drink more, whatever the goal is. I think once you follow those goals and once you meet those goals, I think it just, you build those healthy habits.
Like you collect a W.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you're winning. And at the same time, it's almost, you trust yourself, and then you eventually become confident in yourself. Then I think you can become confident around others, because technically practice, no matter, you can preach what you practice. It also builds a lot of self-love to do the things that you know are good for you. You know,
the things you say you're gonna do.
Exactly. It's like
that one's the hardest one. You say, you know how many times you say we're gonna do something and we don't. Sorry.
Sorry. It's okay. When's it now? Oh, there's this girl, you know, Sophie. This YouTuber, this fitness YouTuber. She's my
Gains by Brains.
She's the best person ever. So she talks about energy givers and energy takers. And she says social media is an energy taker. I would say social media is an energy taker. Drinking alcohol can be an energy taker if you don't do it in moderation. Like just not eating well, eating junk food is an energy taker. Then you have your energy givers.
Draining,
drinking water, staying active, going to the gym, getting your work done, you know, those meditation, like reading, like all the things that you know are good for you. Those things are good for us because bottom line is they're good for us. Some things are just realities, you know. Bad habits are bad habits for a reason, and good habits are good habits for a reason. And I think sometimes with this day and age we can blur the lines to talk about balance, which I do get that I'm gonna have a glass of wine even though I know it's not the best thing for me, but it is what it is. You know,
I think that it is important. I think it's rewarding for me, like giving yourself a tap at the back by maybe taking a nap sometimes, or having a glass of wine, or going out, having a cocktail. It's so important, because I think that when you do that, it allows for you as a person to want to continuously collect the W's.
Exactly.
Yeah, because I remember this one guy, he said on YouTube, how you should start your day is collecting W's. So you finish tasks. So let's say you said you were gonna wake up at this time. You're like, oh, I woke up at this time, I collected my W. I finished 2 liters of water, I collected my W. And then it makes you want to get more and more wins as the day goes. And that's how we should tackle, because then it's not about like weeks or months or years. It's more about taking it by the minute, by the hour, by the day. Yeah. Okay. Someone said, I like the guy, but he replies after 3 days. We have been planning a date since December. We are not even dating as yet. Sure.
Let him go.
Oh no.
Let him go.
Yeah, because I think that it's the intention. That there's no intention. There's no plan.
Literally, it's like I was saying to her, you know, sometimes when you like someone and you feel like they like you, or you think they like you, or you think they're interested or whatever. And I was saying to Annalisa, I actually realized I'm gonna stop asking her and her girlfriend. They always give me relationship advice. I was like, I'm gonna stop asking you guys, what does it mean if he says no? No, it's not a what does
You
it
should
mean.
know what it means. Like,
It-
oh my gosh, I'm
It's
so
okay.
sorry.
It's okay. It's like, it is what it is. I'm gonna take things for as they are. He replies after 3 days. What does it mean? He replies after 3 days. Do I want that? Clearly, I
No.
don't want that. Therefore,
You could be dead after 3 days.
exactly. Like, just let it go. It clearly, I think this girl,
Not a
it's
priority.
affecting this girl, which I completely understand. I feel like I've been there 100 times before, and I just think it's a matter of this is not what I want to deal with. It's like I was, I don't know if you guys should listen to Kevin Hicks. I listen to a lot
Who's
of
Kevin Hicks now?
He's a relationship expert.
Why don't I know about him?
I've
Okay,
seen
I don't
his
need
videos.
it.
You
I
don't
don't need
need
to
to.
listen.
I listen to him.
Yeah.
But Kevin Hicks was saying that with women, what we do is he was giving these 4 things if you like someone, these 4 pieces of advice if you like someone. And he was saying, 1, set your standards. Don't follow your emotions, follow your standards. Because sometimes when we women feel like we genuinely are into someone, our standards, they just drop. We draw a line, they cross it, and then we draw another line and they cross it again. That's what we do. Don't do that. Actually sit down and write your standards up. I've done that a million times before. I'm still single, so I don't know if it works, but hopefully one day it's gonna work. But I've sat down and wrote exactly what I want from a person, and I can, and I'm not gonna compromise based on how they feel. And sometimes I think, for example, with this girl who this guy is responding to after 3 days all the time, I think now it's more so him making you feel like you're not worthy of a response. Now I think he's playing with your self-esteem or your confidence. No, if you're not going to text me after 3 days, I'm not interested in you. You're whack. Why are you responding after 3 days? I'm not interested. Like, I'm actually over you. Like, what is this? I'm over it. Just look at it from that mindset. Why would you want to be with someone who texts you after 3 days? Don't you feel like you're worth at least respond to me within?
And this is only the beginning.
And this is only the beginning. No, like. I just hate that. I hate it, and obviously I'm not saying this to respond to this girl in a harsh way, but I hate it when we women condone nonsense, because it's nonsense. It makes no sense.
It's okay. Don't worry.
And cupcakes. Maybe see the next question. Okay, someone asked how to heal, recover from toxic family. I'm in brackets mother when she's a final year broke student dependent on them.
It's so complicated. I would say under those circumstances, it's just a matter of, like, sometimes you need to be in survival mode. And I think you need to be aware of the fact that you are in survival mode and be patient and understanding of your circumstance, because sometimes we're, let's say, born in circumstances that we don't choose or we wouldn't choose. And I think that I think that the universe doesn't give us things that we can't handle, and I think that it gets better. I would say it gets better. I remember when your therapist said someone can be in a jail cell but they don't feel imprisoned, whereas people who are free,
Right.
sometimes it's more mental. And I think freeing your mind and freeing just your energy and your vibration and everything, I think that it allows you to not even to see beyond what circumstance you're born in or what position you're in at that moment in time. That's what I would say.
I agree with you 100%, and I think that with that being said, I would say if I'm in a position I don't want to be in, and I feel like what the school saying that she feels stuck, because if she wasn't financially dependent on her mother, then she wouldn't feel like she needs to even deal with her.
Yeah.
But I would say try and find the positives in the situation. Try and find gratitude in it. I think try and be grateful for the fact that she is financially taking care of you. By no means am I condoning your mom being toxic at all. But I think try and be grateful find gratitude in it. Find gratitude in the fact that you're being financially taken care of. Find gratitude in other ways besides the toxicity, because I think that in relationships and I don't know what situation she's in, but I would just say try and find gratitude. Try and find things about your mom that you see as positive. Try and find things. I think also try and I hate that I put it like this, but just to put yourself in a better position, if you try and be more nice to her, empathetic, empathize with why is she being like this. Oh, she's being like this because she's hurt. The only reason people tend to be that way is because they're hurt, you know. I think empathize, I think be nice, just be nice. You be
For
kind,
yourself,
be just bring out the kindness, because I believe what we give out we give back. And I think that's what I would say. I would first focus on yourself and focus on how you want to feel about the situation, and then when you focus on how you want to feel, then you basically exude those feelings. Just bring out the positivity from within you. Try and I know it's difficult, but I would say that try and find the positivity for yourself, because at the end of the day it's almost like you have to be in a bubble to, just like what Ansa said, to be in survival mode. And just for your own sanity, and just know that it's not gonna last forever.
I think to add to what you're saying, I think you're also trying to say she should see her mom as more human. It allows you to be more empathetic towards the other person. You know, sometimes people hurt us, and I think that sometimes you need to understand. I remember Jordan Peterson was like, understand the monster you're dealing with. So if you have a person that's abusive to you, whether it's a relationship or friendship, understand the type of person that you're dealing with. And I think it doesn't make it better, but it makes it easier to go through what you're going through at that point in time. But
exactly. But all the best. You've got this. You have,
as long as you've identified the problem.
You've identified the problem. You've got this, girl. You've got it. Don't worry. So someone said, Annalisa, did you always know you like girls? If not, how did you come to the realization? How many minutes is this?
This one's 11 minutes.
11.
This one in particular.
Oh, okay.
What would you say? I've never heard your take on this.
I remember when Annalisa came out as gay, my dad, the first thing he said was the signs were there. And it's like, she was always a tomboy, but they're always tomboys, you know. Tomboys can date guys. I do think that us being twins didn't help you in that situation, because I feel like we always try to do things the same way. And I do think if we weren't twins, you probably would have figured out your sexuality much sooner. Yeah, like probably when you were like 8 or something, you know. But yeah, I think for me, you've always been gay.
Do you think so?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I actually do. I just think it's easy to get a guy's attention and feel like that's what you want. And I like attention, for example. I'll own that. I always own that in therapy. I like attention. It makes me feel good. But I know it's not the best thing to like attention. But to get attention is easy. So maybe when you did think you liked guys or had crushes on guys, it was more so the attention. It's nice to get attention. From girls, it's nice to get attention. You know? So, and that's how I see it. I don't think it was ever anything real. That's my judgment.
I hear you. I do feel like I was always into women. However,
who was your first crush? Girl crush. And how old were you?
I think it was Rihanna.
Rihanna,
I was like 7 or 8.
Okay.
It's so weird, like having a crush on someone. It's exactly the same way I presume it feels for you. Like it's like you're so drawn to the person for no reason. And I think that it's like, I remember when I had a friend and I would just want to talk to her all the time. And I was like, why am I like this?
Intrigued.
Yes, and I'm like, what? Like, why am I treating her differently to everyone else, you know? And I was like 12, 13 at the time. And I would just try calling, and I was like, why am I calling her? You know, but it didn't matter. But I do think that I always felt like it was easier to like guys because I wouldn't have the struggle of liking, because I think liking girls is difficult. Like girls don't even know that you're into them. So I think that and most of the time they're not even into other women. So I do think that I knew that when I was like 5 years old, like in primary school, 6 years old, I always liked girls. I just did like them. But it's like I never knew, but it makes sense now. And I think that but I was with guys because it was the ease. It was the thing to do. You know, to be in a heterosexual relationship, or to like a guy or have a crush on a guy. But I do think that I was, and I don't like to. I will say this. I'm not always proud to say this, but I don't like to label myself. It makes me uncomfortable. I just say gay. Like, I think gay is the umbrella word for anything queer. But I don't know why I can't just say. I just say I'm into women. But
To simplify.
yes,
To answer your question?
I think so.
Okay, next question.
So Sissy, what's your take on this girl said, I'm scared of relationships and love, being hurt so bad. Advice please on how to overcome.
The way I always look at this is, I remember Jim Rohn said, life is risky. It's a risk. It's a risk to step outside. It's a risk to be born. It's a risk to be breathing. It's a risk. Everything is a risk, you know? And the reality of it is, I do think being afraid of love, I can completely understand based on past experiences. But at the same time, it's a risk for you to not experience that, you know? Because I think, who knows, you know? I just think, I remember Matthew Hussey said,
Who's Matthew? Oh, that relationship guy from Australia.
Yeah, Matthew Hussey said, when you say you trust someone, you don't trust them. You just trust that you're going to be okay. And I took that in, you know. I think knowing that you're going to be okay, you're not going to die from heartbreak. Okay, maybe people have died. I don't mean to be insensitive. I don't know. But you're not going to die from getting your heart broken. So you might as well live. And whether or not you choose to not be in that relationship, you're going to deal with other hardships. Other hardships are going to come at you. Whether you are afraid of love or not, you're going to deal with, if you're not dealing with heartbreak, you're going to be dealing with something else. And being in love is an amazing feeling, guys. I love love. I think it's an amazing feeling. And I think, why rob yourself of that? You know, I remember on Aquamarine, I don't know, I know you guys probably have watched Aquamarine. And I remember Aquamarine said, why do you guys want love so badly? Or was it the other girls who said, why do you guys want love so badly? And the answer was, because it's the closest thing we have to magic. I really believe, I never forgot that quote. I was probably 11 when the movie came out, but I never forgot it because I think it just makes so much sense. So don't rob yourself of that because some person decided to hurt you. But I get it, you know. Don't you have anything to say to that? No. Look at me, I'm the one who has all this love. I'm too much love, and I haven't experienced love in like forever. But anyway, so someone asked, do we ever feel insecure about our bodies? Sometimes.
All the time.
Say it loudly.
All the time.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate that. I feel like for me sometimes it can be consuming to be so insecure about my body. Yo, it's draining.
But sometimes it's good.
No, sissy, it's not. And the reason why I say it's not is, I've been self-conscious about my body since I was probably like 7 years old or 6 years old.
What did you know at that age?
I just wanted to be skinny. I wanted to be the skinniest person. I used to do this thing with Ugobisa. You know when you measure your guys' like wrists? And Ugobisa was skinnier than me. And she thought, okay, this is gonna sound horrible. Guys, I'm not trying to trigger anyone who has an eating disorder or anything. But I used to measure my wrist and her wrist. And Ugobisa would be like, why are you suddenly competition? And I felt like she was skinnier than me. And we were in grade 3 at the time. And I was like, oh, she's skinnier than me. I'm not skinny. Like, why did I think that at such a young age? But I'm saying I've been self-conscious about my body
Since then.
I understand. So,
And now?
Yeah, I am. I really am. I also think it doesn't help that there's two of us that were constantly being compared to each other. And people don't compare us. People compare us to find differences with us. You know, like, oh, she's the skinny one. Oh, she's the big one. Okay, I know the difference. That's how people look at it.
And they don't even know that
they don't know they trigger
an insecurity.
Exactly. You know, so I definitely think I'm very insecure about my body. I feel like I've never Okay, there was a time when I was very happy. It was probably June last year. I was my fittest, but I still feel like I could have done more. But at the same time, I'm okay with it because I have to quit things. I have to not go out. I have to not drink wine. There's certain things I need to not do in order to get the body I want, and I'm just not willing to make those compromises. I'm gonna live my life. I mean, I'm not getting paid to have
A nice
six-pack
body.
abs, so I might as well just enjoy my life. So that's how I look at it.
I get it. I just think for me, it's just something I live with. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. And I think for me, the biggest trigger is when a clothing item doesn't fit the way I want it to. Then I start going crazy.
No.
Like I haven't worn skinny jeans in over almost a year or 2 years.
Actually,
I do not wear skinny jeans. I do not have the time to scrutinize myself
To be
in front of the
triggered.
mirror. It's like I don't wear skinny jeans because I know there's gonna be something I don't like. And then that thing of, oh, I'm gonna buy a certain size because I want the size to fit me, and
You don't want that
I'm not gonna
reality.
go up a size. I'm not buying a size bigger than what I don't want to wear. So it would rather just chill there. I've had this pair of jeans for over a year. I still haven't tried them on. It's so bad. But yeah, there's that. But it's fine. I don't think it's normal, but I think sometimes they're just things that you deal with, and it's fine. You know, it doesn't affect, like, it probably affects me once a month or so. I can live with it.
I get it, Sissy. It is what it. Everyone has insecurities.
Yeah,
It's
everyone
fine.
does. Someone said top 3 lessons you've individually learned in your 20s. Do you wanna go first?
You go first.
For me, the biggest thing is you choose your own happiness. You choose your own happiness. That sounds so generic. You're responsible for everything that happens to you and everything that's going to happen to you. And like the other one you said the other day was, no one cares for you as much as you're going to care for yourself, and no one wants things for you as much as you want them for yourself.
That's true. I would say for me, firstly, no one owes you anything. Stop having expectations from people because no one owes you anything. Secondly, gratitude is a way of life. I think if you choose to live your life in a state of gratitude, and it's a practice actually, you don't just get there, you have to choose to decide to be grateful. I'm grateful for my nose, I'm grateful I can breathe. It starts as simple as that, you know? And then the third one would be, I've read this so many times and I feel like it's starting to make sense. It's if you want to see a change, you're gonna have to change. If you want more, you're gonna need to do more. If you want, it's just like what you put out, you get back in. You know, it's just the reality of it. So I want more money, I need to put in more work. If I want something, then I need to do something different. And most importantly, I'm gonna need to do something I've never done before to have something I've never had.
Yeah, and I think that's what people struggle with. They don't realize that they can't do the same thing over and over again
And expect the same results.
different results.
Insanity.
I just want to add to the fact that I said everything that happens to you is your responsibility. I think that the biggest thing is that I think that obviously, I remember Jordan Peterson was like, if something happens to you, you have every right to feel like a victim, you have every right to feel like you were wronged. But at the same time, it's like, wouldn't you not want to deal with a situation or a circumstance differently? And I think that for me, the biggest thing that I realized is not that it's your fault or it's your responsibility, but it does become your responsibility.
It's inevitable.
If someone breaks your heart, they could have been abusive, they could have been controlling, they could have been any way or form. So
how it affects you
ugly to
after.
you. But at the end of the day, you can't make them undo it. You can't make them take it back. And I think that no matter what, there are things that you're gonna have to take accountability for, like in the sense that you have to do the work for yourself, by yourself. And I think that that's the basis of it. I feel like it's the hardest thing, I think, to just,
I know.
anyway.
Okay. I'm gonna read the one. Someone said, and she's speaking about setting boundaries with family. It's a very hard one.
What do you think? It's a very difficult one.
It's a very difficult one because I think that as a child, it's like I was saying this to my mom yesterday, I feel like being a child is very difficult and it's not something we speak about a lot. But being a child means you're going to allow a lot of things to happen to you. And I don't want to be a child ever again, because there were times I wanted to speak up for myself. I'm like, oh, but I'm a child, I can't. Oh,
You can see something bad happening and you can't say anything.
As a child, you can't say anything, you know? And I think it's like, now being in our 20s, it's like we are navigating how to transition from that and finding the confidence to actually be like, no, I dealt with this as a child, I don't want to deal with it
comfortable
as an adult, you know? But I definitely think it's just do it, you know? Have those uncomfortable conversations. Like, if you tell someone, I don't want to deal with this, it's literally that simple. Just say, actually, I actually don't want to deal with this. I don't want to live my life this way. Like, tell people, and you don't even have to be combative about it, but it's as simple as just saying to someone, actually, I don't like it when you do this, and I would prefer if you don't do this.
Yeah.
And time lessons at end. It's that simple as that. You know, like, that's how it's simple, but it's difficult.
I think that the biggest thing with family is guilt. It's like, okay, I've set the boundary, but now there's the guilt. And what would your therapist say? It's your responsibility.
It's your responsibility.
You're allowing the people to walk all over you. You're allowing them to take control over your mind and basically have some form of power over you without even having any power. You've already let them.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a very difficult place to be in, because to transition from now, it's mentally you freeing yourself from control. Like, it's so bad. I do think guilt is the one thing that makes setting boundaries difficult, because you can set a boundary, but now you allow the people to cross that boundary and then you draw another one because you're the one who feels too guilty to set the boundary again.
And I think also, to add on to the guilt part, it's people thinking, oh, you've changed, oh, you're different, oh, you're this, oh, yes, I am. What did you expect? If you want more for yourself, that's what's going to happen, is people are going to find it strange or find it unnecessary.
And I do think it is normal for people to find it strange or unnecessary. It's like Dr. Phil said, when you take away something from someone, it feels like you've taken away a privilege, because, well, not privilege, but it's almost like if you and I are used to having a certain relationship and then all of a sudden I change or all of a sudden you change, it's like, hey, but why are you being like this? Whereas you didn't know that was you were doing something that was affecting me, or I didn't know that you were doing something that was affecting you or whatever. And then it's like, but why are you changing now? Things have always been like this. But I think that people don't understand that the experience for the other person is completely differently. So it's difficult to it's a difficult one on both parties. And I think that being aware of that also makes it easier to know what you're dealing with.
And I think stand your ground. It's very difficult, but stand your ground. You're doing the right thing. If you feel like you're hurting people, you're doing the right thing. It's not about them, it's about you.
Okay, someone said, let's normalize leaving when the relationship doesn't serve us anymore. What do you think? It's very ambiguous. I don't know.
It is ambiguous, and I would say it's so difficult. I think leaving a relationship is so difficult. Let's start there.
I think for me, oh sorry.
No, Ted.
No, it's fine.
No, Ted.
I think for me, the biggest thing in a relationship, the biggest thing, the hardest thing is when you don't know what is enough. It's almost like not knowing when to draw. It's like, oh, okay, I can take this, you know? You're like, oh, I can take this. You're like, oh, I can take this, and I can take this, and I can take this. It's like, when do you know when is too much to take?
You have to be honest with yourself. It's that simple.
But I think it's like, okay,
But which I completely understand. I feel like if I can take something, I can take it. But if I can't take something, I will know when I can't take it. Like, and it goes back to sitting down and writing to yourself, what don't I want? What do I want? It's your standards are constant. I think 5 years, 6 years, your standards should remain constant in a relationship. 6 years, 10 years down the line, I think your standards should remain constant. Because the problem is then, oh, you're not gonna allow them to disrespect you 6 months in the relationship, then you shouldn't allow them to disrespect you 10 years in the relationship.
I understand. I do get it. But sometimes some things seem trivial. Some things seem like it's like.
And I think it gets complicated after a couple of years in. It does get complicated.
Yeah, I get it.
And it's easy for me to speak because
I just think the biggest thing about a relationship. Let me answer. The hardest thing, or the most realistic thing I had to learn is that, for me, it's what I learned is that you have to work through things. You don't leave immediately when it gets hard. It's like, what if you're working through something you shouldn't be working through? What if this is something that should be ending?
It's just part of the journey.
I get it.
You no one knows. You could be breaking up with someone only to get back with them a month later. You don't know. No one knows.
I get it.
Take it as it comes now, in the present.
I get it. But that's the one thing I learned about every day is that, hey, just because it's difficult, it doesn't mean it's time to leave all the time.
It's complicated. I like that.
But this, when it doesn't serve you anymore, like when you know, you know.
Can we talk about protecting your relationship from any resistance or negativity from family or outside people in general?
What is your take on that?
I don't know. I think I haven't been in a serious enough relationship to know. Or, I feel like my friends, there was a time my friends hated my ex. They were like, they hated him, for example. And it was so difficult for me because I was still obviously gung-ho.
You see, that's the thing.
I was gung-ho over
him. For me,
him.
the biggest thing is that, the thing that I learned is that your close friends or family aren't going to forgive your person because you do. They don't care.
I do.
Okay, you do because you're a rational person. I feel like you're very rational. I'll give you that.
It's not my relationship. I don't care.
But at the same time,
I'll be there for you.
You can be hurt on my behalf as well and be like, what?
But I'll respect your decision. Why am I getting attached?
But it's like it becomes a different. I feel like now I'll be mad on your behalf. I'm sorry, but I will be. I will be. So don't tell me things that you're gonna be accepting flowers for later and accepting sorries for later. That's the one thing I learned. Don't tell people things that you might possibly forgive your person for, because now you're gonna forgive your person. I remember Kabiso once said to me, Annalisa, if you're gonna take this back, can you please stop talking to me about it? Because I don't want to hear it. Because it's constantly a thing of you talking. It's like, don't tell people. I get it, it's hard, but or maybe tell a person who can be more neutral, like you're very neutral. I can trust you with that. But imagine about this and this and this. How is she gonna figure out that?
I know.
And then they always gonna think that way. The same with her as well. She's been through similar experiences where she tells her family about certain, and it's like now you forgive the person. So try and keep your relationship private. However, obviously, if it gets to a point where it's ridiculous or abusive or controlling, or to a point where it's excessive, then I think that's when you should call or talk to someone.
Yeah,
I think
that's right. I'm clueless. I don't know. See, so that's our video.
That's our goal chat done.
I hope you guys enjoyed it. We know you guys love our sit downs, and we hope you guys are satisfied and happy.
And we're sorry we couldn't get through every question.
Yeah,
it feels like the video's gonna be so long.
Yeah, I was gonna be video too long, but we know you guys don't mind that.
But we'll probably answer in the next video. So
yes,
we'll probably do another one, definitely.
Yeah, we'll do another one. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video.
Yes.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
And we'll see you
guys
in the
next video.